We showed up and spoke out when Texas Republicans passed the most extreme abortion ban in the country. But Henry Cuellar sided with them, the lone Democrat against a woman's right to make her own decisions, even opposing life-saving care. But on May 24th, you can have the last word. Jessica Cisneros is the pro-choice candidate who will fight for our health care and always protect our right to make our own decisions.
I'm Jessica Cisneros. I approve this message.
Jessica Cisneros is not having any more of what Henry Cuellar is selling. This is a second attempt at going after the establishment Democrat there down in Texas. And this whole fallout, again, from the Supreme Court leaked a draft memo there, is allowing us to get an opportunity for Jessica specifically to talk about how Henry Cuellar is a Democrat, but has also been on the wrong side of this issue. It's not just Republicans. This is a fight that stretches further than what we normally see. So she appealed to party leadership even, and had another video where she pointed out, why are you guys still supporting this guy? I'm right here, and you're preaching one thing that I'm preaching too. Watch this.
As the Supreme Court prepares to overturn Roe v. Wade, I am calling on Democratic Party leadership to withdraw their support of Henry Cuellar, who is the last anti-choice Democrat in Congress. At every turn, my congressman has stood in opposition to the Democratic Party agenda, from being anti-union to being anti-choice. And with the House majority on the line, Cuellar could very much be the deciding vote on the future of reproductive rights in this country. I hope Democratic Party leadership won't stand in the way of delivering for South Texan families, and I'm ready to work with them to deliver on the Democratic agenda.
I think it's pretty straightforward. If you're looking to support someone who supports what you're saying, especially as we're seeing this news break out from the Supreme Court as the Democratic leadership, why would you not support the candidate that is gonna fulfill what you say you believe in? That's the big question, Yaz. We're gonna get to some of the defenses from Cuellar, but I wanna get your first thoughts on this.
Yeah, this is a pretty contentious district and it's very flippable. I think in 2020, Jessica Cisneros did challenge Henry Cuellar and she came very, very, very like frustratingly close to winning his seat. It was like maybe a couple thousand votes that she lost by. And this district, it's like right outside of San Antonio and it goes down to the southern border with Mexico. So it's a pretty interesting district and it is very flippable. And it is, Henry Cuellar does have a reputation for being quite the dino around here. I mean, everything he says is part of the Republican agenda, and especially this anti-abortion stance that he has, it just doesn't fit with what he's saying that he believes, or with the party that he's chosen to align himself with. And he said in an interview, he's like, it's just a matter of morality. Like morality is fine, but morality is not the law. It's not like your own personal ideals and what you believe. Fine, like do that, but you can't impose that on other people.
But somehow we still think that's that old school approach to it, and be like, well, I'm a good Christian, I'm a good Catholic, therefore that's why you need to have me in office. And these are my stance on it. And by the way, be a good Christian, be a good Catholic, and be against your choice whether or not you'd be about taking part in those services, that accessibility. But so part of Cuellar's defense, let's go to graphic number 3, you guys. After this did come out, and as he's being called out for what he is, because he doesn't want to be seen on this side of it, he still wants to at least be seen as a Democrat. Cuellar, meanwhile, has defended his longtime opposition to abortion, saying in a statement on Tuesday that he has, quote, always been pro-life as a lifelong Catholic. But there, quote, must be exceptions in the case of rape, incest, and danger to the life of the mother. Now, I wonder if he realizes that there's states that he's, and governors and state legislators that he's agreeing with that don't care about those aspects, rape, incest, or life of the mother. And by the way, it doesn't have to be those parts. You're still against what the majority of the country believes in. Continue on for some of his defense. He says, let me be clear about the leaked opinion of the potential SCOTUS ruling. It is not based on precedent and is not incremental in nature. He said this in a statement he posted on his campaign's Twitter account. It will further divide the country during these already divisive times, but let us wait until the final ruling. Did you notice something there, Yaz? He didn't point out how it's taken away women's rights. He didn't talk about how it's peeling back a long time precedent that many people have utilized and actually works out for them. What he's talking about is how it's more divisive for the country. That's his issue with it. It's back to politics. If your representative or your senator's mindset is this goes back to politics, this goes back to politics, this goes back to politics, it means he doesn't have much of an agenda. He doesn't have much on principles. It's more based on how can I position myself well that this looks and feels right? Because now we have to have some form of unity when the opposite party has absolutely no intention in dealing in unity.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing that happens whenever there's an issue, but they want you to, it's like there's all this happening over here, but it's like, no, but just focus right over here. Just here's where I want you, and don't worry about all this over here. And they talk to people like they're stupid, right? And it is a divisive issue. It has been happening, but it's like what I mentioned earlier. So many Americans, the majority of Americans support the right to an abortion, the right to women's health care and things like that. And it's not as divisive as it should be because not many people support it, but it's become such a talking point with the Republican Party because they know that a lot of people will vote Republican based on this single issue, right? This is one issue that people feel the people who are pro-life feel so passionately that way that they will vote for the party that says that we will get rid of abortion rights in this country. And it doesn't really matter what else is going on. So the Republican Party is reluctant to get rid of that, to lose that stronghold, because it is a stronghold for their party at this point.
So if I move on to the next, and that appears to have always been one of their strongest ones. The gun issue they keep bringing back up, and no one's ever challenging that either. As much as many Americans would like them to do something about that. It's definitely one of their big campaign pushes. And if it's no longer accessible for them to use for political purposes, what's the point? Because we already know they don't actually care.